Have you ever wondered why the person you love feels so close, yet so far? What if I told you that in this very moment, you hold the key to manifest a specific person fast and bring your wish fulfilled into reality? Today, I will show you how to awaken the power of your imagination to shape your world and attract the love you desire. I remember a night years ago when I sat in my room longing for someone, a love that seemed distant, almost impossible. But I understood the law of assumption meditation, the law that says imagination creates reality. So I closed my eyes and began to dwell in the wish fulfilled, feeling the warmth of their presence as though it were already mine. I imagined the sound of their laughter, the softness of their hand, and the joy of knowing they were mine, now, not later. And within weeks, the outer world conformed to the inner reality I had assumed. This is not chance, this is law. When you manifest a specific person, you are not forcing them. You are aligning yourself with the version of you where love already exists. It is not about waiting, it is about being. The manifestation techniques I share are simple. You assume the end, you dwell there, and you live from that end until it hardens into fact. You see, the outer world is nothing more than a shadow of your inner conversation, a mirror of your belief. When you feel that love, when you surrender to the wish fulfilled, the person, the moment, the relationship, they all flow to you effortlessly. And you will discover that the speed with which your desire materializes depends not on the outer world, but on your unwavering inner knowing. Close your eyes for a moment and ask yourself this: what does it truly feel like to have what you desire? Not to wish for it, not to hope for it, but to live in the state where it is already yours. This is the secret. To feel the wish fulfilled, to enter into that state, you must forget the outer world for a time and surrender to the reality of your imagination, for what you assume inwardly will express itself outwardly. Feeling is the bridge. It is the golden key that unlocks the invisible to the visible. You cannot simply think about love or imagine a fleeting image of your specific person and expect results. Thought alone is not enough. It is the deep, natural conviction, the feeling that what you desire is already here, that impresses upon the subconscious and bends reality to your assumption. When you dwell in this state, the outer world has no choice but to mirror the reality you are entertaining within yourself. Imagine for a moment that you are already in that relationship. Do not see yourself longing for it, see yourself enjoying it. Hear the voice of your specific person speaking words of love to you. Feel their presence so real that your body responds. Let your heart beat a little faster as you immerse yourself in that vision. You are not hoping anymore. You are living in the end. This is the state of creation, the point where your desire and your reality are one. The world will tempt you to believe in appearances. It will whisper that you are alone, that your desire is far away, that it will take time. But time is an illusion when you live in the end. What you assume with feeling collapses the illusion of distance. In imagination, you are no longer waiting, you are being. And because you are being, life must rearrange itself to confirm what you have assumed. If you find it difficult at first, begin gently. When you lie down at night, allow the body to rest, and with your eyes closed, imagine a scene that implies the wish fulfilled. It could be a simple moment, holding their hand while walking down the street, receiving a loving message, or feeling the warmth of their arms around you. Make it so natural, so ordinary, that your subconscious accepts it without resistance. And as you drift into sleep in that state, the subconscious, which never sleeps, takes that feeling and begins to weave it into the fabric of your reality. Understand this: the subconscious does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It accepts as true whatever you feed it through feeling. If you constantly feel lack, if you live in the state of longing, then the world will continue to reflect that longing back to you. But if you discipline yourself to dwell in the fulfilled state, to feel the joy, the love, the security of already having, the outer world will respond with corresponding events, people, and circumstances. This is law. You must also learn to persist. One night of feeling will not undo years of living in a contrary assumption. When doubt rises, as it often will, gently return to your inner world and remind yourself, I am not creating, it is already created. I am simply aligning with the version of me where this desire is reality. Each time you return to this inner state, you strengthen the bridge between imagination and physicality. There will be moments when the outer world shows you the opposite of what you desire. Do not be moved. These are but echoes of old thoughts, shadows of old assumptions dissolving. The new state will dominate if you persist in feeling it real. This is not effort, this is surrender. You are not forcing anything to happen. You are allowing the truth of your assumption to express itself. Let your inner conversations be saturated with the feeling of having. Speak inwardly as though it is done. If you desire a loving text from your specific person, hear it inwardly. Imagine their name lighting up your phone. Hear the notification tone and read the words in your mind with a sense of gratitude, as though it has already happened. This is not fantasy, this is creation. The feeling is the seed, and every seed, when planted in fertile soil and nurtured, must grow. Do not worry about the how. The mind will try to rationalize and calculate the steps needed for your desire to come to pass. But that is not your work. Your only task is to assume and persist in the feeling of fulfillment. The outer world, guided by forces unseen, will orchestrate the details perfectly. People will move, circumstances will shift, opportunities will arise, all to bring about the reflection of your inner state. You need only remain faithful to the feeling. Begin to embody the version of yourself who already has what you desire. How do they walk? How do they speak? How do they carry themselves? When you take on that identity inwardly, the outer world will mirror it without resistance. This is the subtle power of alignment. To become within the version of you who no longer desires because they already possess. And as you remain in that state, the manifestation ceases to be a wish and becomes an inevitable experience. Remember, creation is finished. Every possibility exists now. The reality in which you are loved, cherished, and fulfilled is already alive in the unseen. To manifest it, you do not need to struggle, to plead, or to chase. You simply need to feel the reality of it now and rest in that knowing. When you do, the world, without effort, will conform to your assumption, for it is law that the unseen becomes seen when feeling is aligned with belief. So tonight, when you close your eyes, do not drift into sleep with thoughts of longing or lack. Enter sleep as though the desire is already accomplished. Feel the joy, the gratitude, the peace of living in that reality. Make it so vivid, so natural, that when you open your eyes in the morning, you carry that feeling into the day. And soon, as surely as night follows day, your outer world will bow to the authority of your inner state. For what you dare to assume with unwavering feeling must be made manifest. To awaken the power that shapes your world, you must learn to quiet the noise of the outer and enter the silence within. The law of assumption meditation is not complicated. It is the simplest, most natural act of returning to the center of your being, where imagination rules and every desire is already fulfilled. It begins with stillness. It begins with a willingness to detach from the world of facts, opinions, and appearances, and to step into the unseen world where all things are possible. Find a quiet place where the distractions of the day cannot reach you. Sit or lie down, close your eyes, and allow your breathing to slow. With every breath, feel the tension of the outer world dissolve, and let your attention turn inward. You are not escaping reality. You are entering the only reality that truly matters, the reality of imagination. This is where the seed of your desire is planted, and where the bridge is built between the invisible and the visible. As you sink deeper into this relaxed state, bring to mind the one desire that burns brightest in your heart. Perhaps it is love. Perhaps it is the longing for connection with that specific person. Perhaps it is the joy of experiencing a relationship that feels complete and secure. See it clearly, but more importantly, feel it deeply. The law of assumption meditation is not about idle daydreaming. It is about saturating your subconscious with the vivid reality of your wish fulfilled. It is the difference between observing from afar and stepping fully into the scene. In this meditative state, construct a simple, natural scene that implies your desire has already been realized. Do not make it complicated. The subconscious responds to simplicity and repetition. If you wish to manifest love, imagine the feel of your specific person's hand in yours, the sound of their laughter filling the room, or the warmth of their voice calling your name with affection. Make it as real as possible, engaging all your senses. Hear, see, touch, and most importantly, feel the emotion that comes with having what you desire now. This meditation is an act of faith. When you enter this inner world and accept the seen as true, you bypass logic and reason. You step into the creative state where feeling impresses itself upon the subconscious. In that moment, the outer world no longer dictates what is real. Your inner assumption becomes the only authority. With each session, your belief deepens, and your reality begins to shift in subtle but undeniable ways. Conversations change, circumstances align, and opportunities appear that lead you closer to the reflection of your inner state. There is great power in repetition. Do this meditation daily, preferably at night, when the mind is quiet and most receptive. Before sleep, enter the drowsy state where the conscious mind loosens its grip and the subconscious stands open, ready to receive instruction. In that state, replay your imaginal scene, but not as something you want, but as something that already is. Allow the feeling to deepen until you drift into sleep, carrying that reality within you. The subconscious, which does not sleep, will work ceaselessly to externalize what you impressed upon it. As you practice this meditation, you will notice a shift within yourself. The longing will fade, replaced by a calm knowing. The desire will no longer feel distant, because in your inner world, you are already living it. That inner certainty is the true sign that manifestation is underway. You will walk through the outer world with a quiet confidence, because you know that creation is finished, that your specific person, your desired relationship, your love, is already yours in the unseen. Do not let the outer world shake your faith. It will show you evidence of the old story for a time, because reality is a mirror that takes time to reflect new assumptions. But if you persist in your meditation, if you return night after night to that inner world where your desire is fulfilled, the outer will have no choice but to conform. This is law. The seed you plant in imagination must grow when nurtured with feeling and persistence. When doubt arises, and it will, return to your meditation. Close your eyes and dwell in the end. Remind yourself that this inner act is not mere fantasy, but the true act of creation. Every event, every relationship, every success you have ever known began first in the unseen world. What you assume and feel inwardly must express itself outwardly in time. By meditating on the wish fulfilled, you train your mind to live in the reality you prefer, rather than in the reality that appears to be. It is important to understand that this meditation is not about forcing or controlling anyone. It is about aligning yourself with the version of reality where your desire already exists. The outer world is simply responding to your inner conviction. When you consistently meditate on love, harmony, and connection, you become a vibrational match to those experiences, and they are drawn into your life effortlessly. You are no longer chasing love, you are radiating it, and in that radiance it finds you. Make this meditation a sacred practice. Approach it not with desperation, but with joy, with gratitude, with the quiet confidence that what you seek is already yours. When you step into that inner reality night after night, the line between imagination and physicality begins to blur, until there is no separation at all. The love you once longed for is no longer a desire. It is your lived experience, the natural outflow of the state you chose to dwell in. Each time you sit in stillness, remember that you are not hoping. You are knowing. You are stepping into the state of being where your wish is complete. And as you persist in this practice, the outer world will rise to meet your inner assumption. For the unseen always precedes the seen, and what you feel real within must, by law, become real without. Within you, there is a constant dialogue, an endless stream of words and feelings that shape the reality you live. These inner conversations are not idle or meaningless. They are the blueprint of your world. If you desire to change your outer experience, especially to manifest love, connection, or that specific person, you must first learn to change the conversations you hold with yourself. For it is impossible to dwell in lack within and experience abundance without. The unseen dialogue is the true architect of your life. Every moment of the day you are speaking inwardly. When you think about the one you love, when you imagine scenarios of joy or rejection, When you replay old memories or rehearse future conversations, you are writing the script of your reality. The mind is always creating, always planting seeds. What you accept as true within will always express itself without. If your inner voice speaks of fear, doubt, or longing, then fear, doubt, and longing will echo through your experience. But when you replace those inner whispers with words of love, certainty, and fulfillment, you shift your state, and the outer world follows in perfect obedience. Begin to notice the tone of your thoughts. Are you begging for love? Are you rehearsing rejection or imagining silence? These conversations may feel harmless, but they are powerful commands to the subconscious mind. They tell it, this is who I am, this is what I expect. And the subconscious, without question, accepts and manifests what you dwell upon. This is why it is essential to saturate your inner dialogue with the assumption of love fulfilled. Speak inwardly as the one who is already cherished, already adored, already living the reality you desire. When you think of your specific person, speak to them inwardly with love, not from a place of lack, but from the fullness of connection. Imagine the warmth in their voice, the ease in their tone as they call you by name. Have conversations in which they express their love, their commitment, their desire to be with you. Feel the reality of those words as though they were happening now, because in imagination they are. And the more you dwell in that reality inwardly, the sooner your outer world will mirror it. This practice is not about pretending, it is about aligning your inner state with the truth of your desire. The moment you feel the reality of those loving inner conversations, you have shifted into the state of having. In that state there is no waiting, no desperation, no uncertainty. Only the calm knowing that what you assume inwardly must take form outwardly. This is the key to living in the end, to speak and feel as though it is already done, and to let the outer world conform in its own time. There will be moments when old thoughts try to pull you back, when the mind replays the story of not being chosen, of being abandoned, of being unseen. In those moments, you must consciously redirect the conversation. Do not argue with the old thoughts. Simply turn away and begin again. Speak inwardly the words you wish to hear. Hear them saying, I love you. I've always loved you. I can't imagine my life without you. Feel the truth of those words in your body until they settle into your subconscious as fact. This repetition, done with feeling, will dissolve the old patterns and replace them with a new reality. Persist in these new conversations, for persistence is what hardens your inner assumptions into fact. Every time you catch yourself slipping into doubt or fear, gently return to the dialogue of fulfillment. Make it a habit to live inwardly as the version of yourself who already has what you desire. When you walk through your day, carry the quiet confidence of someone who knows their love is certain, their connection unshakable. Let that inner certainty color your tone, your posture, your presence. The world cannot help but reflect the state you embody. Understand this: the subconscious does not respond to scattered thoughts or fleeting wishes. It responds to feeling, to repetition, to the consistent story you tell yourself. When your inner conversations are rich with love and gratitude, when you imagine with clarity and emotion, you impress the subconscious deeply. And what is impressed inwardly must, by law, express itself outwardly. You will find that circumstances begin to shift in your favor without effort, that people move in ways you could not have planned, and that opportunities arise that bring your desire into form. This is why it is so important to live from the end, to make your inner world a sanctuary of fulfillment. The outer world is only a reflection. It has no power of its own. If you wish to see change, speak the change within first. If you long to hear loving words, hear them now in imagination. If you wish to feel cherished, let yourself feel it deeply each time you converse inwardly. The more natural this becomes, the faster your reality will bend to match the state you occupy. And as you persist, you will notice something extraordinary. The longing fades. The desperation that once gripped your heart dissolves, because you no longer feel separate from what you desire. In your inner world, you are already one with it, and that inner union is what calls the outer experience to you. This is the quiet confidence, the still assurance that draws love to you effortlessly, without strain, without chase. So make your inner conversation sacred. Guard them fiercely. Do not allow fear, doubt, or lack to take root. When you wake, when you walk, when you drift to sleep, speak the words that align with the reality you choose. And when you do, you will find that the world, like a faithful mirror, reflects back to you exactly what you have been declaring within: love fulfilled, connection secured, and the joyous experience of living the reality you dared to assume. Everything you see, every circumstance you call reality, is nothing more than a reflection of your inner assumptions. The world, as solid and immovable as it may seem, bends and reshapes itself according to the story you are telling within. When you truly understand this, you stop wrestling with the outer world and begin to master the inner one. For nothing outside of you has power on its own. It simply echoes the convictions and beliefs you hold in the unseen. If you look closely, you will see this truth everywhere. Think of the times when you carried a quiet confidence, when you just knew something good was coming, and it did. Or the moments when you feared rejection so deeply that you saw signs of it in every interaction until it manifested fully. The outer world cannot help but comply with the picture you hold of yourself and your experiences. When you believe in lack, you live lack. When you assume love, you live love. When you walk in certainty, the world mirrors certainty back to you in every direction. This is why shifting your assumption is the foundation of every manifestation. It does not matter what the situation looks like now. It does not matter what anyone has said or done. When you change the inner state, the outer state must follow. The law does not fail. It cannot fail. What you consistently assume inwardly must express itself outwardly in due season. The question is never if, it is only when. To change your assumption, you must first observe the one you currently hold. Be honest with yourself. What is the story you are carrying about your specific person, about love, about yourself? Do you see yourself as the one who is chosen or as the one who is overlooked? Do you believe love is easy and natural for you, or do you silently affirm that it is difficult and fleeting? The reflection in your outer world is telling you the answer, for it will never contradict the assumption you hold within. Once you identify the story, you must choose to rewrite it, not through willpower or force, but through feeling and persistence. Begin to assume the version of reality that you desire. If you wish to manifest love, assume that you are already in a harmonious, fulfilling relationship. If you long for your specific person, assume that they love you deeply, that you are together now, that there is no distance or separation. Let that assumption become your dominant state, so natural that you stop questioning when or how it will come to pass. Living from this new assumption does not mean ignoring the world around you. It means understanding that the world around you is temporary, a shadow of the old state dissolving. You may see signs that seem contrary to your desire, but these are only remnants of past thoughts and beliefs. Do not be moved by them. Stand firm in your new story, knowing that the outer world must catch up to the inner shift. The bridge of events will unfold in ways you cannot predict, and you do not need to know how. Your only work is to persist in the state of the wish fulfilled. To embody a new assumption, engage all of your senses. Let the reality of your desire become so vivid in your imagination that it feels more real than the world you see with your physical eyes. When you think of your specific person, imagine their voice, their presence, their affection as though it is happening now. Let your body respond to the feeling of that reality, the calm, the joy, the quiet assurance of love that is already yours. In that feeling, you are planting the seed that will grow into visible form. You will find that, as you maintain this inner state, subtle changes begin to appear in your world. The tone of conversations shifts, opportunities arise. People move in ways that support your assumption. What once felt impossible begins to unfold naturally, effortlessly, because the outer world is only following the script you have written within. This is not coincidence, this is law. The outer must conform to the inner, because they are one and the same. The challenge for many is persistence. The mind, conditioned by old stories, will try to pull you back to the familiar. It will whisper that nothing is changing, that you are fooling yourself, that the evidence is against you. When this happens, remember that the outer world is a delayed mirror. What you see today is only the echo of what you previously assumed. Keep returning to the new state, keep feeling it real, and the echo will change. Your persistence is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. Do not underestimate the power of subtle shifts. It is not always the grand gestures that reveal your assumption is taking root. Sometimes it is the smallest signs, a message, a glance, a sense of ease within yourself, that indicate the outer world is rearranging itself to match your new story. Celebrate these moments not as signs that something is coming, but as confirmation that it already exists within you and is now unfolding. When you live from the assumption of love fulfilled, you will notice that you no longer seek or chase. The longing is replaced by quiet certainty. You do not wonder if you are loved, you know it. You do not ask when they will come, you feel their presence now. This inner knowing is magnetic. It draws to you the very experiences and relationships that match your assumption, for the world cannot withhold what you already claim within. This is the beauty of understanding that reality is a reflection. It frees you from the struggle of trying to control circumstances or other people. You realize that all power is within, that by changing your state, you change your world. And so you begin to live intentionally, choosing your assumptions carefully, nurturing only those that align with the life you wish to experience. In this way, you become the conscious creator of your reality, shaping it from within, and watching with quiet wonder as the outer world bends to the authority of your inner state. Time is an illusion. The only reason you believe it stands between you and your desire is because you have been conditioned to measure life by clocks and calendars, to think that creation is a slow process that unfolds little by little. But in the realm of imagination, there is no distance, no delay, no waiting. The moment you assume your wish fulfilled and dwell in that assumption with conviction, the seed is planted and your reality has already shifted. It is only your awareness of time that convinces you otherwise. When you desire love, when you long for that specific person to be by your side, you often imagine that it will take weeks or months, or even years for things to change. You look to the outer world for proof, and when you do not see immediate evidence, you tell yourself that it will come someday. But that someday is an illusion you have created by clinging to time as a barrier. The truth is that your desire exists now. The relationship you seek, the love you crave, the connection you wish to experience, it is already complete in the unseen. Your task is not to wait for it to come, but to align yourself with the state where it already is. When you detach from the idea of time, you step into the realm where manifestation is natural and effortless. You stop looking at the clock and start living in the feeling of your wish fulfilled. The question shifts from, when will it happen, to, how deeply can I embody this now? And the deeper you go into that feeling, the faster the outer world bends to match your assumption. It is not the outer world that causes the delay. It is the belief in delay that slows the unfolding. Every desire you have is already finished. Creation is complete. The moment you imagine, the moment you feel, you are tuning into a reality that already exists. Think of a radio station. The music is playing whether you tune in or not, but you only hear it when you align the dial to the right frequency. Your desire is no different. It is playing now, alive and real in the unseen. The law is simple: tune yourself to the frequency of already having it, and you will experience it in the physical. The idea of waiting, of needing time, is nothing but static, keeping you from hearing the music clearly. Detachment from time is not the same as indifference. It does not mean you stop caring about your desire or that you pretend you do not want it. It means you no longer live in the state of wanting, of expecting it in the future. You bring the future into the present by feeling that it is done now. In that state, you do not wake up wondering if it will happen today or tomorrow, because you know that it already has. And when you know, you release the anxious grasping that pushes your desire away and replace it with the quiet confidence that draws it effortlessly to you. Imagine for a moment that you are living in your desired reality. You are already with your specific person, already experiencing the love, the connection, the harmony that you have been longing for. Let that feeling saturate you, not as something that is coming, but as something that is here. The mind will try to argue. It will point to the current circumstances and tell you that nothing has changed. But those outer circumstances are nothing more than the old reflection of an old state. The moment you shift inwardly, the outer must catch up, and the bridge of events begins to form to lead you naturally into your desire. When you release the concept of time, you also release the need to control how your desire unfolds. You stop asking how and when, and instead allow the invisible hand of the Lord to orchestrate every detail with perfection. People move, conversations happen, circumstances align in ways you could never plan, because the outer world is simply following the blueprint of your assumption. Your only work is to hold the inner state, to persist in the knowing that what you feel within must, by law, express without. There will be moments when doubt creeps in, when you look at the outer world and see no evidence of change. In those moments, remind yourself that what you see is not the truth, but the shadow of yesterday's beliefs. It is the echo of an old state dissolving. Do not give power to the illusion. Return inward, return to the feeling of fulfillment and rest there. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes, until you find yourself no longer concerned with when or how. You simply know, and that knowing is what collapses time. Living in the now is the key. Every time you find yourself slipping into longing or waiting, bring yourself back to the present moment and ask, if I already had my desire, how would I feel right now? Then feel it. Walk through your day as though your desire is complete. Speak from that state, think from that state, act from that state. When you embody the version of yourself who already has, time loses its hold on you, and manifestation becomes a natural unfolding rather than a distant goal. You will notice subtle shifts as you detach from time. The anxiety eases, the doubt quiets, the urgency fades. You begin to move with a quiet confidence, a knowing that the world is already aligning in your favor. And in that stillness, in that certainty, the outer world rearranges itself with precision and speed. Opportunities appear, conversations shift, doors open, and your desire flows to you in the most natural way possible, without effort, without struggle. Understand this: you are not waiting for your desire. You are not chasing it. It is already yours in the unseen, and the moment you release the illusion of time and live in the state of fulfillment, you allow it to flow into your experience. There is no delay in the law, only the delay created by your belief in waiting. When you let go of that belief, when you decide to dwell fully in the now, the bridge to your desire becomes clear, and what once felt far away becomes inevitable and immediate. To visualize is to create. Every image you hold, every scene you replay in your mind with feeling, is the silent architect of your reality. The world you walk in today is the direct result of the pictures you have consistently impressed upon your imagination. If you wish to manifest love, to call forth the presence of your specific person, then you must learn the sacred art of visualization, not as idle fantasy, but as deliberate creation. For what you see clearly and feel deeply within must, by law, express itself without. Begin by understanding that imagination is not a place of escape, but the true state of reality. When you close your eyes and construct a scene that implies your desire is fulfilled, you are not pretending. You are stepping into the blueprint of a world that already exists. There is no separation between the inner and the outer. There is only the alignment of what you consistently feel inwardly and what eventually hardens into fact. This is why visualization is so powerful. It is the practice of embodying the end result until it becomes so natural that the outer world must conform. Find a quiet moment, a space where you will not be disturbed, and allow your body to relax. As you close your eyes, do not focus on the how, for the outer sequence of events is not your concern. Instead, move your attention inward and ask yourself, if I already had my desire, what would I see? What would I hear? What would I feel? Allow the answers to rise naturally without force. The most effective scenes are the simplest. A loving embrace, a soft voice saying, I love you, a quiet evening together, the warmth of their hand in yours. Simplicity is the language of the subconscious. As you create your scene, engage every sense you can. If you are walking with your specific person, feel the ground beneath your feet, hear the sound of your laughter blending with theirs. Sense the subtle pressure of their hand holding yours. Smell the air, hear the city or nature around you, Let every detail become vivid and alive. The more real your scene feels, the deeper it impresses itself upon your subconscious mind, and the faster it takes shape in your outer experience. The key is not just to see, but to feel. You could build the most detailed image in your mind, but without emotion, without the feeling of fulfillment, it remains a hollow picture. Feeling gives life to your vision. As you visualize, let your heart swell with gratitude, with joy, with the calm assurance that this moment is already yours. Feel the security of being loved, the excitement of connection, the peace of knowing that you are no longer desiring but experiencing. This feeling is the magnet that draws the invisible into form. Do this visualization daily, ideally in the moments when your mind is quietest, just before sleep or early in the morning. In that drowsy, receptive state, the barrier between the conscious and subconscious fades, and what you imagine is accepted more easily. Replay the same scene again and again, not as a task to complete, but as a natural experience you enjoy. With each repetition, the line between imagination and physical reality begins to blur, until you cannot help but feel that what you desire is already present. There will be times when the outer world seems unchanged, when you are tempted to believe that nothing is happening. In those moments, return to your visualization with even greater conviction. Understand that what you are experiencing outside is simply the lag of old assumptions fading away. The seed has been planted, your job is to water it with persistent feeling, not to dig it up to see if it is growing. Trust the process, knowing that what you vividly imagine and feel must, by the unchanging law, take form. As you practice, you will notice shifts within yourself. The longing that once filled your heart will begin to dissolve, replaced by a quiet certainty. You will find yourself walking through your days with a subtle confidence, a calm knowing that your love, your relationship, your desired reality is already secured. That inner shift is the true sign of alignment, and it is always followed by changes in your outer circumstances, often in ways you could never have predicted. Do not underestimate the power of repetition. One vivid scene, replayed with consistency and feeling, is enough to transform your entire reality. You do not need to visualize for hours or force elaborate stories. You need only to return again and again to that one simple, powerful scene until it feels like home. When your inner state becomes saturated with the feeling of having, your outer world cannot help but match it, for the two are reflections of the same source. And remember, visualization is not a chore. It is an act of creation, a joyful dance with the unseen. Approach it with gratitude and anticipation, knowing that the moment you step into the scene inwardly, the process of manifestation is already complete. You are not waiting for it to happen. You are aligning with the version of you where it already has. The bridge of events will unfold naturally, and you will find yourself living the reality you once only saw in your imagination. Persist until the feeling of your wish fulfilled becomes your natural state. As you walk through life, let that inner picture guide you. When doubt arises, close your eyes and return to the scene. When impatience creeps in, breathe deeply and feel it real again. This persistence is what separates wishful thinking from deliberate creation. For what you consistently imagine with feeling, what you hold as true within, must by law externalize in the world around you. When you understand the art of visualization, you no longer look outward for confirmation. You no longer wonder if it is working or when it will happen. You know, you live in the state of the fulfilled desire, and the outer world, obedient and precise, rearranges itself to reflect the images you have impressed upon your inner mind. In that knowing, you discover the quiet power of creation, the realization that reality itself is your canvas, and imagination, guided by feeling, is the brush that paints your life exactly as you choose it to be. Everything you experience in your outer world begins with who you believe you are within. Your self-concept is the foundation of every manifestation, the silent script from which every scene in your life is played. If you desire love, if you wish to manifest the unwavering devotion of your specific person, then you must first see yourself as the one who is already loved, already chosen, already worthy of the very thing you seek. You cannot hold on to an inner image of lack and expect abundance to bloom in your world. Reality will always reflect the identity you claim, whether you are conscious of it or not. When you look at your relationships, at the circumstances that surround you, you are seeing the mirror of your own beliefs about yourself. If you believe love is hard to find, then your outer experience will echo that belief. If you see yourself as someone who is overlooked or rejected, the world will simply play that role faithfully. And if you believe that love flows to you easily, that you are magnetic, cherished, and adored, the world will rise up to meet that assumption with effortless precision. Nothing in the outer can contradict the inner state you occupy. It is law. To shift your reality, you must first shift the way you see yourself. This is where true transformation begins. It is not about forcing anyone to love you or chasing after what you desire. It is about stepping into the version of you who already has it and letting the world mirror that certainty. If you wish to be in a loving relationship, begin by assuming the identity of someone who is deeply loved. Ask yourself, how does that version of me feel? How do they think? How do they move through the world? And then begin to embody that state until it becomes your natural way of being. This work is subtle, but it is powerful. Throughout the day, notice the stories you tell yourself in silence. When you think of your specific person, do you feel chosen and secure, or do you feel anxious and uncertain? When you think of love, do you see it as something that is yours by nature, or something you must earn or chase? These quiet, habitual thoughts are the very assumptions that shape your experience. Change them, and your reality must change as well. Affirm within yourself a new story, not as a hollow mantra, but as a deep conviction. Say to yourself, I am loved, I am chosen, I am worthy of everything I desire. Feel those words as truth, not in the future, but in this present moment. When you begin to identify yourself with the end state, when you consistently occupy the feeling of being loved and secure, the outer world will have no choice but to align with that assumption. You are never waiting for reality to change. Reality is waiting for you to claim the identity that makes change inevitable. As you build this new self-concept, you will notice a shift not only in your external circumstances, but in your internal state. The neediness, the fear, the longing will begin to dissolve because you no longer feel separate from what you desire. When you see yourself as the embodiment of love, love flows naturally to you. You stop chasing and start allowing. People, opportunities, and experiences that match your new identity begin to appear, as though drawn to you by an invisible thread. This is why persistence is essential. The old self-concept, built over years of repetition, will try to pull you back. It will whisper that nothing has changed, that you are still the same, that your desires are out of reach. Do not fight the old story, simply turn away from it and return, again and again, to the feeling of the new you. With every repetition, you are reprogramming your subconscious, teaching it a new truth, until that truth becomes automatic and effortless. Live your days from this new state. If you were already loved, already cherished, how would you carry yourself? How would you speak? How would you think? How would you feel when you wake in the morning and move through your day? Begin to embody that version of yourself now. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. This embodiment sends a clear, unwavering signal to your subconscious that this is who you are, and the outer world responds with absolute obedience. Understand that you are not pretending, you are revealing. The identity you assume inwardly is the reality you will experience outwardly. You may look at your current circumstances and see no evidence of change, but that does not matter. What you see now is simply the reflection of the old state, the echo of the old self-concept. As you persist in your new identity, that echo will fade, and the outer world will catch up to the inner transformation. This is not speculation, it is law. With time, you will find that the outer confirmation becomes less important. You will no longer need constant signs or proof, because the inner knowing becomes so strong that you feel your desire is already done. That calm certainty is magnetic. It draws your specific person, your desired relationship, your ideal experiences to you without effort or struggle. And when they arrive, it will feel natural, inevitable, as though it could never have been any other way, because you have been living as that version of yourself all along. This is the power of self-concept, to know that you are the cause and the source of every change. The world is your mirror, And when you shift the image within, the reflection must follow. It does not matter how impossible the outer situation appears. It does not matter how long you have been waiting or how many times you have been disappointed. The moment you decide to claim the version of you who already has what you desire, the process of transformation begins, and the bridge of events will carry you step by step into the reality you have chosen. So, look within. Ask yourself who you have been being, and decide now who you will be. Choose the version of yourself who is loved, chosen, secure, and whole, and dwell in that identity until it becomes the only story you know. For as you change the image within, the world without will bow to that assumption, and the love you have been seeking will rise to meet you in the most natural and effortless way imaginable. Persistence is the quiet power that separates fleeting wishes from inevitable realities. It is not a forceful effort, nor is it a desperate grasping for what you desire. Persistence is a calm, unwavering decision to remain in the state of the wish fulfilled, no matter what the outer world dares to show you. It is the inner knowing that what you have assumed to be true must, by the unchanging law, take form in your life, and until it does, you will not waver. You will not be moved by appearances, by time, or by circumstance. In the beginning, persistence may feel unnatural, because the mind has been trained to react to what it sees. You look to the outer world for evidence, for signs that what you are imagining is working. And when those signs are not immediate, doubt begins to creep in, whispering that nothing is happening, that you are fooling yourself. But in those moments you must remember, what you see now is only the echo of your old assumptions, the reflection of an old state that is dissolving. It has no power except the power you give it through your attention. To persist is to turn away from that echo and return, again and again, to the truth of your inner vision. Persistence is not a battle, it is surrender. It is the willingness to dwell in your desired state, as though it were already true, regardless of the current picture. Each time you choose to return to that inner reality, you are impressing it more deeply upon your subconscious, and the subconscious, which never argues and never sleeps, begins to shape the outer world to match the image you have held within. The bridge of events begins to form, often in ways you could never predict, carrying you step by step toward the fulfillment of your desire. Understand that persistence is not about time, it is about consistency. One moment of doubt does not undo your work, just as one moment of faith will not instantly transform your world. It is the sustained, consistent dwelling in the assumption of your wish fulfilled that produces results. Each day, each night, you return to that inner knowing, feeling it more and more real until it becomes your dominant state. And when the inner state becomes dominant, the outer must conform. This is the law that governs all creation. When you persist, something remarkable begins to happen within you. The longing, the anxiety, the desperation that once consumed you begins to fade. In its place grows a calm confidence, a quiet certainty that your desire is not only possible but inevitable. You stop looking for signs because you no longer need them. You know. And that knowing is what allows the manifestation to flow effortlessly into your life. The outer world no longer dictates your state dictates the outer world. There will be days when persistence feels easy, when your inner vision is so clear and strong that the outer world cannot shake you. And there will be days when doubt feels heavier, when circumstances seem to scream the opposite of what you know within. On those days, persistence becomes an act of gentle discipline. You do not fight the doubt, nor do you condemn yourself for feeling it. You simply turn inward once more, closing your eyes, quieting your mind, and returning to the scene of your wish fulfilled. You feel it real again, and you rest there, knowing that this simple act, repeated faithfully, is what bends reality in your favor. Persistence also requires patience, not the anxious patience of waiting, but the still patience of knowing that everything is already unfolding. When you persist, you stop asking when or how, because you understand that creation is finished. You have already assumed the end, you are already living it inwardly. The outer expression is simply catching up, arranging itself in perfect order and perfect timing. In that state of trust, you find peace, because you are no longer seeking but being. To persist is to embody your desire in every thought, in every feeling, in every quiet moment of your day. If you desire love, you persist in feeling love, in imagining the warmth and security of that relationship, until it becomes so natural that you no longer wonder about it. You speak inwardly as the one who is already chosen. You walk through the world as the one who is already loved. And as you do, your persistence solidifies the assumption within you until the outer world has no choice but to mirror it back. Many give up too soon, abandoning their assumption because the outer world has not changed fast enough. But what they do not see is that the change was already underway, that the old state was crumbling and the new reality was beginning to take form. Persistence bridges that gap. It keeps you steady when appearances tempt you to doubt, and it carries you through until your inner vision hardens into physical fact. There is no force in the universe more powerful than a mind that refuses to waver from its assumption. Each time you persist, you build momentum. What once felt like effort becomes effortless. What once felt like pretending becomes knowing. And in that knowing, you discover that persistence is not about holding on tightly, but about relaxing into the reality that what you have imagined is already yours. You stop chasing and start allowing. You stop doubting and start trusting. And in that trust, in that quiet, unwavering faith, your desire moves swiftly and naturally into your experience. Persistence is not an act of willpower, it is an act of alignment. It is the daily choice to return again and again to the state of the wish fulfilled, until that state becomes your home. And when it does, the outer world will bow to the authority of your inner conviction, for reality can only reflect the story you tell within. Persist, and you will see that what you dared to assume, what you faithfully lived in imagination, must by law be made visible in your world. Everything you have heard, every word, every image, every truth shared returns to one unshakable foundation. Your imagination creates your reality. There is no power outside of you, no force greater than the state you occupy within. The love you seek, the connection you desire, the life you dream of is not separate from you. It is you. It is here now, waiting only for your assumption, your belief, your unwavering decision to live as though it is already yours. When you feel the wish fulfilled, when you dwell in the end, when you quiet the noise of doubt and give your heart fully to the reality you have chosen, you unlock the unseen law that governs all creation. The world will shift, people will move, circumstances will align in ways your logical mind could never predict, because the outer is only a reflection of the inner. You are not waiting. You are not hoping. You are being. Let this truth settle deeply. Nothing is too big. Nothing is too far. Nothing is impossible when you live in the certainty of your inner vision. Persist not with effort or strain, but with quiet faith and joy. Persist until the scene you have imagined becomes the only reality you know, until the line between what is imagined and what is seen fades, and you are living the life you once dared only to dream. And when your desire manifests, and it will, you will not be surprised. You will not feel it was chance or luck, for you will understand that it could never have been otherwise. You will smile, knowing you created it all from within. For as you have believed, so it has become. And with that knowing, you will realize that you have always been the author, the dreamer, and the creator of your reality.